guys, just having my morning coffee and just wanted to sort of highlight a bit of a stoic thing today. Work's been a bit frustrating for a while. Well, not being funny, the old company was bad. At least 150 people left there through some management changes, and then putting a 21-year-old or whatever in as a director, or he thinks he was a director. I think he was the account manager, which then led to a mass exodus because the guy was a complete nutter idiot. And I'm seeing a similar pattern where I am now, in the sense I've got these little graduates and the way the business is set up, so they have this nice little blame culture going on, where they'll take anything you do that's good and blame you for anything they do that's bad. Now, I used to get annoyed with this sort of stuff because it's just vile, horrible working environments, narcissistic blame cultures, not really good. But I started getting involved with this Stoic stuff the last 6 months. Started reading up on it and looking at the way they look at things, and one of the focuses is being in the present, not the past, not the present, not the future, which sounds a little bit more complex in the sense of life's never that easy. But I get it, because when they're talking about past and present, it's not way in front and way behind. It's like, don't focus on your flaws, your failures, your problems, your long-term things that you have zero control over, because they still talk about things like keeping a journal, daily reflection, things like that, because the reflection is about keeping based. Keeping based is things like looking at where you are today, and this is this mindset change, which the reason I bring up today, I think it's quite useful, because like I say, work environment's crap. All it is for me these days is money, nothing else. They've sucked the life out of my interest in it. So I've started to focus on other stuff. I didn't think I'd ever get to that point, which is a bit weird when people actually suck the life and interest out of something that you're obsessive about, getting things right, etc., etc. But I reached a point where you realise you're wasting your time. A lot of the stuff they do is just paperwork. There's no end at it. They're doing a project to identify, say, energy changes and energy improvements, but no intention of doing it is to show that they're stepping towards doing something, but the intent is not there. So it's like, we've got an energy strategy, we've got this strategy, not invested in it, but on paper, as a corporation, you've got to have an energy strategy, you've got to have this. It's not about the outcomes, which sort of makes the whole thing a waste of time beyond looking good on paper. But the environment's quite bad. So what I've been doing is sort of just focusing on what you control. So a daily reflection, doing a master's degree at the moment, utter waste of crap, but at the same time, I get my MSc at the end of my name, and that's the only reason I'm after doing it. So focus, get it done, keep your head down, knock that out. 4 big assignments to do on it, and some other bits and pieces, but just get it done. Not going to gain any knowledge out of it, unfortunately. It's predominantly AI generated as well, which makes it even worse, because they try and make it sound better than it is. It's overly verbose. You get paragraph after paragraph or something. It could be one sentence. But you keep based. So the focus is, you sort of go, okay, well, where am I today? I've got my course sorted, money in the bank, savings started, mortgages coming down. We're in a good situation, ready for Christmas. Well, sorry, had the Christmas done. Now heading into New Year, relaxed, home, good time with the kids. Even the sunshine. Sunrise is looking nice. I don't know where the keys are. Might be able to show you a quick sunrise. But when you keep it in the present, you're looking at what's good around you. And you reflect on yesterday and whatever and what's been going on. But it doesn't mean become fixated on the problems, because most of the problems you have in life either aren't real, in the sense of you overthink them, or they're only temporary. There you go. Don't know if you can see up there. Look nice on the balcony, but I'm not going upstairs today. Switch the lights off now as well. But things are temporary for most things. So like this, it's not about being fixated on the problems. It's about being fixated on moving forward, what you can change, what you can do, what is going right. And the problems, what are you going to do about them? So the funny thing is, over the Christmas break, I've been thinking about the work environment. Finances are fine now. We're rolling on the finances. I need to get some business ideas going. I did have a business that was actually starting to move forward, but I think the guy that I'm working with, I'm going to try and take the cash for himself, so I'm just simply going to pull out on it. Yeah, he can make money off it. Good luck to him. It's simply not worth my time arguing with him. There was some serious cash in there, but I think he's cocked it up beyond belief anyway, because he didn't follow what he needed to do. He's done it in his own way. You know, I'm the boss. I'm this. So it's like, yeah, good luck on it. So some of the things like that I could say that's cost me £80,000 and be really annoyed about it. But reality is, I've lost probably a bit of my spare time. Money wasn't in my hand, so it doesn't really exist. And it's allowed me to see some of the gaps for what I need to do for other stuff going forward. So it's a learning curve. Write it off. Don't get frustrated. Don't get annoyed. Just move on. Just go. It's all right. You carry on. He's probably going to come and whinge because I think he was expecting me to hang me out for about 11 months, not pay us anything, then stiff me at the end. Better idea. I'll pull out now. Good luck, because you're going to need it to actually get the job finished. Not the way I like to operate. But that'll be the third time now somebody screwed me over financially over the years. And I was talking to a friend about it. He says, you're normally on the ball with this sort of stuff, but the problem you've got is everything on the business side is built on trust. So if you go in early and they cock it up, thanks, it's not going to hammer me too much, because I've had it previously where it's cost a lot of money. Because they're embedded in your business. And it wasn't even about the finances, it's how they crippled the business. It cost, 15 people their jobs because of something an individual did. That was just pure laziness and bit of bitterness, because they had a particular task to do and they're getting paid decent money to do it, which is, I won't go into it in too much detail, but they decided, I'm not going to do it. 1 hour day, 1 hour's work a day, for 500 a week. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm entitled to more in the business. I'm told they got no investment in the business, no skin in the game. They did have access to some data that was useful, but that was it. Hence, they were earning decent money for 1 hour a day for one task, and that was it. Nothing else. So yeah, disappointing, but every now and again these things happen. And this starts going back to about being based. It's like, that was yesterday. Moving on. This year, don't think too far ahead, but start to structure a bit more. So I sit and look at it. The finances are in a good place, but I need to accelerate that. But I need to get some of the business things running. What's the key to that? The answer is time. Current job role, way too much time of my time taken. It's not fitting into a working day, plus of other things that are way outside of what I agreed when I took the job on. Time to change. That's it. It's not a discussion piece. It's happening. Because this is where a lot of people don't move forward. They dwell. They think about it. The fear factor of what if something happens? Oh, I've got to find another job. There's risk there. What if I'm not happy there as well? Reality is, in my industry, it'll be very hard to find anywhere that I'm happy, because the businesses are failing everywhere. I work in PFI and PPP contracts. They're all the big F word, because they've been commercially led, been robbed blind of all the finances in there. The people that have been in there often from the beginning are still there, so they will not admit that they've been robbing it blind for profit. They want a blame culture. They want to keep it where they can blame other people for it failing, not that they've took millions of pounds out of the contracts. So that will continue as a thread. That's not going to change. Me going in there saying all this equipment's broke, this has failed, this is your roadmap out, but it's going to cost money, etc. They don't want to hear it. They know it's what's necessary, and they know they can't function without it, because going blind is far more expensive. Because when you start going, I remember a hospital, brand new hospital, there's a problem with HEPA filters on the theatres. Taking the theatres out for a day, the fines were £250,000 a day. I would take a school offline, it's £30,000 a day. Take a school opening up late in the morning, £10,000 a day. There's a lot of fines. Now, where you have a problem is the commercially led people that are just going, oh, there's millions of pounds, which it's not real millions. It's actually equipment. The money was earmarked for equipment in buildings, whether it's lighting, boilers, carpets, ceilings, windows, whatever it is. They're saying, oh, there's millions of pounds there. Let's have that as a profit. But they don't assess where it was coming from. As such, you could go, boiler's in fantastic condition. Yeah, it's 15 years old, but if we last another 15 years and change it then, that's fine, because that had a cycle of changing every 15 years. But what you normally find, boiler's on its way out, not being serviced, not maintained, failing. It's profit. Right, we need to change this now. 3 years later, there's no money for it. Why do you need to change that boiler? Been working fine for years. Because it's knackered. You have not been investing any money in this stuff. You've not looked after nothing. You've just been declaring profits to the shareholders, etc., and falsifying your risks. So that's a bit of background on what I deal with. It's a constant. But where you've got to have some realization, which is a bit that is important, is if it's starting to affect you as a person. So a lot of my work has been plagiarized. A lot of my stuff that was the positive threads, in the sense of generating a lot of profit, etc., has been stolen. There's other people took it as their own work. At the same time, stuff that they cancelled, whatever, tried to blame me for it, when they've actually done it. I could sit and get frustrated about it, but I don't care anymore. The reason being is I still have integrity. I still have self-respect. I still have self-pride, dignity, etc. Ethics, values. I recognize where the problem is. It's not me, it's them. And I say them because it's a small little clique. They do it for the rest of the business. You know, they'll blame everybody but themselves, and they'll cross match with each other internally, and then they'll sort of say something, and we support each other. It's a horrible setup, but narcissists normally work with narcissists. That's reality. So you just move on. And this is the thing. If I can do it, you can do it. If you're in a bad working environment and you're not paid well, why are you there? If you're in a bad work environment and paid well, I get it. That's why I'm there. I mean, a few people have asked me about moving over to Spain full time, whatever. I get paid quite well in the UK. I'm circa about 100,000 a year. If I go back to consulting, I'm way over 100,000 a year. So my actual thing, this is why it's important, is when you get into these situations where things are winding you up, harassing you, bothering you, getting a little, you get things like real ass send you emails last thing on a Friday trying to wind you up for the weekend, that sort of stuff. Realize what they're doing, and realize if you're letting them control you, you're letting them do it. Can take control of the situation. See, I look at it and go, if I exit, it will have a repercussion, because it's not going to be easy to replace me. They're only halfway through where they needed to be. But because they're trying to give a false narrative that they're actually doing it, it becomes much harder, because I've walked them up a ladder. And when I pull myself out of it, good luck explaining how the rest of it comes together, because you're only going to have half the story. But it's not because I'm vindictive or whatever. It's just the fact that they've walked themselves up there, because I'm going through the same motions I normally do of correcting a contract. But the good thing is, I'm looking at it, I'm getting job offers to go back consulting. I'm getting job offers to go full-time elsewhere. And there's one that's come up that negotiating this week, hopefully. Which means I'm not having to go into London and stuff. I'm not. It's like 12 miles from where I'm based in Northampton. There is always alternatives. And this is part of being based, reflection, and looking at where you are today. Because it's not all about the good stuff. And as I look out, I've got a nice house, happy family. Don't get me wrong, extended family with my own siblings, etc. Not a good place. I had one of my brothers die this year. I'm pretty much written off. The rest of that's gone. I might as well be an orphan. But I don't take that as a negative. It's just stuff outside my control. There's certain things you can't control. One of them is the way people think. But I was saying, with some of the narcissism stuff, is peculiar, because if you look into narcissism, the way some of these people click, it's weird, really weird. And when you try and apply logic to it, you can't. It doesn't work, because they don't get it. It's like dealing with a child. They'll sit there with the chocolate all over their face. No, I didn't eat the chocolate. And then they get annoyed that and frustrated because you accuse them of something. It's really that bad. So the key to everything is actually just recognize, keep your own position. Just don't let people frustrate it. Don't let people make it difficult for you. Recognize you need to make those changes. Those changes can sometimes be direct or indirect. For example, a bad relationship. A bad relationship can either be in work or at home, but that relationship will have the effect on the other half anyway. So if you've got a bad working relationship, it can affect your home life. Bad home life will affect bad work life. And if they're both out of sync, what happens is you create a cycle. You go home annoyed at work. First thing you're doing, telling your wife how crap your day is. She's going, he never listens to me, all that sort of stuff. She's annoyed with you. She's giving you that. So you wake up in the morning, still annoyed because you've been arguing with your wife yesterday and first thing in the morning probably. Going to work annoyed, then back into an annoyed work environment and come home. You've created a cycle. Key to that, I mean, I used to do it years ago. When I had a difficult workplace, I'd go to the pub for 2 hours before I went home. And that was to get rid of all that crap before I went home. But that's not healthy in the sense of, bear in mind, I wasn't going for 10 pints, I'd go for 2 pints. But the fact is, if you're having to create that barrier, the environment needs to change. It's not functioning. And that's the key to a lot of the stuff that's being stoic and down that sort of route. The daily reflection and keeping a journal is one of the things in there. It's worth doing because the journal piece, that's what I was thinking about this morning. Because I think a part of that is actually having a front page. This is my thoughts on this. This is what I was thinking about this morning because I was thinking about, well, how do I expand it? How do I use this better? Because I got a journal and a diary, and it's full of stuff. But the problem is I go off on a tangent because I keep it as an ideas book, and it's not what it's supposed to be for. So I thought, right, I'm going to have to buy another book. I've got to do this. And then it's like, what do I put in the front page? And the front page, I think, has to be your rules and what you're abiding by. I mean, I'd recommend doing a front page of what you want to achieve. So, for example, me, I want to lose some more weight, but at the same time, I want to go to the gym. Work interferes. You'll see my weight crashes down quite quick, but it's then workload affects me doing anything. So, getting stuck behind a desk for 16 hours a day for 7 days a week sometimes has a negative effect on your health, bizarrely. But when I change to an 8-hour day, I start going to the gym every day. So I start doing 5 hours a week in the gym, or 7 hours a week in the gym sometimes. I start exercising more. So part of this, I think, needs to be the first sort of page. It's working out your ideal you. And it doesn't need to be, oh, I want to be I don't know, doctor of mathematics or something. It's got to be achievable, but at the same time, it's got to be stuff that you want to achieve on a regular basis and rebase it. So let's call it basing. That's not sure that's a real word, but it should sort of be like 10 things, like, let's say, the gym, dieting, dieting, and then maybe in brackets, how you're going to achieve this, because that may be another page. Your ethics and values, what are they? Separate pages. Because you should need to align your own ethics and values as well, because that's an important and it's a fundamental on keeping yourself as an individual, as a person, because you can refer back to, does that ethically and morally align with you as an individual? And structure it in a way that's actually, you got something that you can reflect back on, because you'll justify stuff to yourself. People always do. I spend a lot of time talking to people that are going through situations, and they'll rant about somebody at work or whatever. Then 10 minutes later, try and justify what the person's done to them, and I'm going, hey, you missed the point. why are you letting somebody speak to you like that or whatever? So it doesn't matter about the situation. It's the way they approached you or whatever. That's the bit you've got. Yeah, that's the bit that's hung you up. Not whether you've done something wrong or whatever. It's been the approach. And that gets into things like treating people the same way you want to be treated, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, that's another piece. It's cold in here in Spain today. My coffee's gone cold already. But I would say it's more about not like business goals or stuff like that. It's about stuff directly about you, your health, maybe your mental space. Maybe you've got, you want to be able to wake up in the morning and not worry about stuff. That may be something on there. Remove worries, that sort of thing. And then you can. The reason I'm saying you put these in, and they're quite open-ended, is because if you do a daily reflection and journaling it, and you're not sure what to write, guess what's on your first page? All the stuff that encapsulates why you're doing this. And you start to journal it and think about it. And the reason the journal's important is you can look back on it. Because one of the problems you have, and I was going through this recently, because when work was winding me up, because that's why I started to go down the route, I need to change all this. I'm going to make another coffee. Is I don't reflect enough. And I hear people talk about reflection, and it all seems a bit hippie, but it's not. I mean, one of the things it does is clarify everything. So I look at the fact I didn't even realise I've been in Spain 9 years now. But I look at where we are today and where we first arrived. We first arrived, we were renting a 2-bedroom flat, had an old car, had enough finances for, I think I had about 20 grand on me. So I had enough money for a year. Didn't have a job. Still working out where I'm going. Haven't got much focus on where or what we're doing. Had to do all the immigration stuff. Kids in April were still under, what do they call it? Schengen paperwork, so still under the Philippine staff, not residents, etc., etc. Didn't have a house, didn't have much going on. Had to work it from scratch. And you take it sitting here, when sitting contemplating about work and like the headaches and what am I going to do next, and you're going, right, we own a house is nearly paid, kids are doing great at school, Ulby's now playing guitar, piano, done 2 concerts now for his music school, got a newer car, heap of junk thanks to the DPF problems with the filters. Car itself, fantastic. If I drilled it all out, it'd run fine, but it just smokes like mad because of the problems with the diesel filters. So I'm going to change that again, but then I look at it and go, 20 grand on a car. If I put 20 grand in the investments, that's going to snowball. So keep the car for another year, put the money in the bank, roll the investments first. So I sit and look at it and go, it's got to change, but at the same time, there's more important stuff. It's got money in investments. Mortgage is nearly paid off. There's plenty of work out there. I've got a base in the UK, so I can travel backwards and forwards. I've got the routine of travelling backwards and forwards pretty much down to a T. There's not a lot to grumble about unless you don't actually reflect and look on where you were and where you are today. The problems of today are all temporary. Going back 9 years, no job, in a new country, don't own nothing, financially enough money just to get kick-started, and then struggle to get things started, moving, etc. Didn't speak much Spanish, speak a lot more Spanish now. You're always moving forward. But if you don't document it, reflect it, look at where you're going and where you've been, you don't see it because you don't think about it. Being in the constant present, you don't see the good stuff because it's moving forward slowly, and it's with you all day, every day, so you don't look at it. That's why the reflection is important. This is why I think the journaling is important, because you can actually keep it for this year, keep that journal, get one for next year, and evolve it. That's why I think it's important to actually look at this stuff from a perspective and mindset of how you're going to change things. Because, like I said, everything's temporary anyway. But a lot of people get locked into current issues, current problems, assuming they can't be changed. A fear factor in there that is normally yourself. The fear of change is probably one of the biggest problems that keeps most people locked into stuff they don't like. Ultimately, everything can be changed. Anyway, that's enough for today. I've gone on for nearly half an hour, well, over half an hour on that. But I wanted to sort of get the point across that you can change things, and you can change it for the better, and you can sit and outline it, and you can make it happen. Thanks for watching.